Now we're going to move to a business turnaround expert. He's a startup mentor and an investor. Please welcome on stage Gaurav Singh.
So I am sleep deprived for 4 days, right? So bear with me. This is a comfort wear picture, so I'm still glowing in that. This is great. So I am the co-founder of JPIN. It's a global advisory firm. We are 6 offices across Asia and Middle East and the UK. Opening a 7th office in New Jersey. We advise small to large businesses, startups, and large organizations on growth strategy, capital, structuring, all those capabilities end-to-end. We recently launched a tech fund in the UK JPIN Odyssey mission fund with Ingle, the fund manager, and a very renowned, very established player. The intention of the fund is to promote Asian entrepreneurs, right? Now there is a degree of affinity, of course, right? But I think that we did a lot of research because there's a commercial angle to it. So research said that the top 10 countries with startups, US was obviously the biggest, 25,000. Then came India with 5,000. Then was UK. But in the top 10 countries, 7 were Asian countries, right? The 3 which were not Asian, US was the biggest player, and we know, Silicon Valley is bread and butter, so that is Asian. 50 to 60% of entrepreneurs are Asian, right? So the genetics that was coming out of all of this is, whenever it's tech related, Asians play a very critical role, right? It's like a synonym. It's come out. Odyssey mission was actually a statement. It's been used multiple times, but I understand that the tech revolution that happened from India and it took over the world, there were some key HNIs in the UK that started a similar theme. And what we wanted to do was reignite that and take it to the next level. But not just focus on Indians, generally Asian. I think there's a big, let's break all these barriers, right? Let's focus on people with similar technical aspect. So ultimately, what we're focusing on are tech startups, Asian-led entrepreneurs, right? So someone in your team has to be an Asian because again the whole point is there's more resilience. There's a degree of they will pivot into something more successful. There was and asset-light businesses, so not looking to set up anything heavy, any manufacturing. That is our advisory side of the business. But for this fund, asset-light, scalable businesses that can achieve a valuation of 70 to 100 million in 5 years' time. Now, for a tech company that is asset-light, scalable, the right trajectory, right team, that is not a big valuation. So we're not running after the unicorns, right? Unicorns are by virtue, and they're everyone's focusing on that. But there's a really, really big play, a really big market that we're focusing on, with those kind of valuations. And there, we started to, go out, and Lakshya obviously is one of our portfolio investments. There's so many entrepreneurs, right, that are always, working with ideas. So again, I've come across hundreds, thousands of startups over my time, and there's some key learnings I would just like to share, right, and encourage everyone. And the whole point of, again, UK-India corridor, there's so many of such forums coming up, especially because from a tech perspective, UK is amongst US, UK, India are the key players. So the more we nurture this community, the better it is for both sides. So there was a research I read a couple of years back, which is based on the entrepreneurship quotient of a country. There were the top 3 countries. Third was US, with 1% of the population was entrepreneurs. Right. Second was China, with 2% of the population. Third was India. So first was India, with 7% of the population. And this was a few years back, right? Clearly it's gone up. But what happens is, again, so there are, the key learnings that come out of it is, in my life I've seen from startups is, the first is that there's 3 kinds of people. One are entrepreneurs who've taken a plunge, right, and they've done well. Others are very clear that I am not an entrepreneur. I am focusing on the job I do and I'll do it well. The third is a really big bucket, right, of people who are just sitting on the edge contemplating, I want to do it, I've got family issues, I've got not saving enough, what if I fail? All these are pretty standard, right? I took a plunge in 2010 and you pivot, and that thankfully it's going well. So what I would say to the middle bucket is, for those who've seen the Mountain Dew ad, right? You get what I'm saying, right? So it's in Hindi it says "Dar ke aage jeet hai," but means is beyond fear there's success, right? So the intention of me saying that is, if you take the plunge, for those who are still contemplating, 3 things can happen. One is you would be successful. Second is you could pivot and then be successful in something else. Or third is you'll at least get it out of your system that you want to try it. You've tried it. Then you'll be more focused on at least getting a good job and growing in the time, right? All 3 are respectable. So that is one. But again, one thing that we also see in entrepreneurs is, there is a degree of doing multiple things and doing stuff. Stuff is what gets you killed, right, in business. So do one thing, focus on an idea, give it the right trajectory and momentum with the right structure, then absolutely do other things. But give it the right level of respect it needs. Don't do a burst approach. That's one. Second, and there's no age. By the way, the people we are investing in who are 19, people who are investing in who are 65, right? So don't think that people who are early in their careers are like, oh, I've done 10, 15, 20 years. Listen, if you're going to live till 80, for instance, are you going to let 20 years of your career decide what the next 40 years look like? So that's not sensible. The second thing is, respect investor money, right? UK is such a strong economy. They're really, the government really putting tax incentives for people to invest in startups. In small, early stage businesses are really able to raise capital much easier than others, right? So your family, friends, angels, VCs, Ps, they will invest in you, and they'll take a punt in you. But what you also tend to see, and this is again the whole reason for me to share this is, a lot of the whole intention is to nurture startups, but this is also the right time to set some guidelines of what not to do, right? So don't go extravagant if you don't need to. People start to give themselves big pay packets, right? Company might be doing crap, right? What happens is, where businesses fail, is you are not able to raise your second round because people have seen what you've done. You lose credibility. Listen, people understand that you are going with the best intention, but you might not be successful. Okay, it happens. But at least you build credibility with investors that your ethic is strong, and you will subsequently do something, right, that is going to really, so they are happy to invest in you because they know that this person is going to do something really big one day, and I want to be throughout the journey, right? The third, again, I think important aspect is, again, I hear the word unicorn a lot, right? I think, it's a myth, right? Myth in terms of, again, you find something, it has its journey, right? Or people don't have a herd mentality. If you're building a $2 million business in 5 years' time, a $10 million business, a $30 million business, a $100 million of unicorn, right? Each of them are respectable numbers, right? But follow your passion. Don't, again, you can be the tortoise, you can be the hare, or you can be the cheetah, right? All of them in their own spaces have won the race sometime, right? So don't, really go after, you don't punch above your belt if you don't have the right support structure and the right confidence. Because very quickly you can build something, it might struggle for funding, you'll crash. A lot of good potential businesses do that, right? So that's the the intention I would always encourage people to consider. And we, as part of this forum, we've also helped a lot of startups, pro bono, right? From a perspective of guidance. Use us as sounding boards, absolutely. Right? Early stage, we don't invest in when someone says I have an idea. Everyone has an idea, right? Do something more than an idea, but we'll be happy to work with you from the onset in guiding you, providing you, connecting with the right people to make sure that you are on the right trajectory. What to do, what not to do. We'll very, very happily help you. So any questions, come find me. Rahul is there. Please reach out, and very happy to have a chat. Yeah. So,
Thank you.
Thank you, Gaurav. I see a lot of smiles.